Why, hello there YouTube. My name is Arne, also known as the Artrix, and today is the 19th of February 2013. You actually may know me from stuff like Polka's Magic and that one pony unboxing video that's floating around the site. Yeah, people have quite differing opinions about that one. But I'm here to present a new feature, which is basically, I'll probably call it something like Artrix's time-lapsey, vloggy thingamajig, I suppose. But it's basically gonna be like taking clips from my live streams, stringing them together and time-lapsing them and adding a soundtrack, which is basically me talking about whatever it is I want to talk about at that specific moment, just for your child's amusement. So yeah, this is the first episode. But first, a few things I just want to get out of the way before I go on. For one thing, I'm going to be quite liberal with the language I use, so it isn't necessarily the intention, but I'll probably be quite liberal in the kind of language I use. So it's probably not going to be safe for work. It's probably not going to be suited for minors, just so you know. But then again, this is YouTube, this is the internet, and yeah, you ought to know this stuff already. But just in case, just so you know, there's also like this warning thing in the beginning, so no one should be able to bitch about that one. Yes, I just said the word bitch, so here we go. And the second thing is that, yes, I have an accent, and that's because I'm Dutch. I'm from Dutchland, where wheat's everywhere. Like, I went to the supermarket yesterday, got myself some wheat and some wheat cake and some wheat potatoes, and I'm gonna make myself some wheat stew. Also, Fox News labeled us as the anarchy capital of the world, so it's all anarchy here, no rules. I'll probably get robbed again tomorrow or something like that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So yeah, I have an accent. There's nothing I can do about it, and yeah, I could have done these things in Dutch, but then people would bitch that they cannot understand me. So it was either that or English. So English it is, and yeah, not just that, but if it was like in Dutch, I had to create subtitles, and then people wouldn't be able to find the subtitle button. So that much for my reasoning for doing these streams in English. Also, you could also take this to your advantage. I mean, instead of bitching about my accent, you can actually, you know, use it as a source of your own child's amusement. I mean, a lot of people seem to like Jotun Perel's accent, so you could use the same thing with my accent, I suppose. Moving on now. So the picture I'm working on in this particular episode is called Bontkraagterroristjes, which is Dutch for fur collar terrorists. I could go in depth about what it actually means, but it's much easier to just point you to the deviation page where there's a small description. So click that. It's right there in the video description. Right under the video, or to the left, right, the top. I don't know. YouTube seems to be changing their layout every 20 seconds. So yeah, whatever. But it's in the video description. I know it's very hard to find. A lot of people seem to have trouble finding it for the crucial information that yeah, they usually ask in the comments, and it's like right there. So yeah, in the video description, there's a link to the deviation page. So anyway, what are we looking at right now? So basically, it's a picture of the humanized Cutie Crusaders, and their worst offense is loitering. Basically, that's probably the worst thing you can do in a humanized ponyville, I suppose. and they're doing typical pre-teenagery loitering-y stuff, I suppose. And Cheerilee is there, and she finds it endearing for some reason. I suppose, you know, them being her pupils, he's kind of invested in what they're doing in their private time, which is actually kind of creepy when you put it that way, but yeah, that's the basic premise of the picture. And it's nice that you can sort of make up your own story. I mean, for all we know, you don't know what Sweetie Belle's doing on that cell phone, you know. She could be checking some text messages from her friends, though that's probably not the case, because we all know that Sweetie Belle is the biggest shipper of all shippers, so she's probably spying on someone or whatever. Or she's, if you're a shipper and you like that kind of shit, she might be getting a text message from a boy or some shit. Or they're watching some funny cat pictures, or they're playing with some really dumb app. I've seen some pretty weird stuff in my day, so yeah, they might be playing with some app. But whatever it is, you can make up your own story, and everyone is happy. And whatever this, Scootaloo is not very impressed, and she's just sitting there like, yeah, can we please do something else? I'm bored. Because she'd probably rather be riding around on her scooter and doing ridiculous stunts that will probably get her killed one day. So yeah, she's just sort of being bored right there, as Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle are intrigued by this mysterious phone. So that's basically all I had to say about the picture right now. Well, like I said before, the link is in the video description. Go click it and watch it in all its glorious detail. All right, so I suppose I could talk a bit about YouTube and what my experience has been thus far. I never really did a lot of interactions on YouTube, as in it's my personal, it's always been my personal policy to sort of not comment on videos and what have you, mostly because I suppose YouTube is more of a non-internet people place, so there's a lot of people that normally wouldn't use the internet that visit the site. When I just posted Polka's Magic, the response was, I was actually kind of surprised by how many views it got in such a short amount of time. But I suppose there's generally more people on YouTube anyway. Also, Equestria Daily might have helped quite a lot, actually. So here's my very belated thanks to Equestria Daily for plugging that video. Yeah, then there was the unboxing video. Oh yeah, by the way, that unboxing video was, I really didn't expect it to get that many views. It was mostly just posted to show to the people at Ponygoons, which is basically like a splinter group from Something Awful. So that should tell you what sort of people you're dealing with. But basically, one of the guys commissioned me to do a picture, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna send you all the McDonald's ponies as payment. And back in the day, there weren't any McDonald's toys in Netherlands, and it was still quite new and amusing. So I was like, oh yeah, sure, that sounds amusing as shit. So I was like, I made a picture, and he sent it over, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna film it and just put it on YouTube so they can see that I received it and what my initial reaction was. But a lot of people actually seem to like it, and in the sense that I suppose it's mostly because it's a clear picture of what the McDonald's ponies actually are. It's got all 6 of them, and it's in HD. And of course, there's the other side of the story that it's grown-up men and pecking ponies, and yeah, that's probably where most of the haters come from. So some of these are like pretty predictable, and it's mostly people who are probably insecure about their own masculinity, so they have to comment on these sort of videos. Yeah, what happened to live and let live, or whatever that saying is supposed to be. Yeah, so that's pretty much all about YouTube. Also, I must note that I'll probably change that personal policy when it comes to things like these sort of videos. So if you have any questions or what have you, do not hesitate to post them, and I might actually get back to those. So yeah, that much for YouTube. I'm already at the 11-minute mark, so I guess I'll go quickly to the subject of the season finale of My Little Pony, since I'm technically a brony. I used to avoid that label for the longest time, but I sort of come to accept that, well, if people just keep calling me that, and yeah, then it shall be, you know. And if you go by the most basic, well, I'm just gonna get some water here. That's good. If you go by the most basic definition of the word, then yes, I am a brony. As in, I like to watch a show, and that's, yeah. I like to watch a show. I usually like to watch like an episode, and if it's really good, I might watch it again. I don't really find myself that extremely obsessed with it. It's more about drawing fan art and visiting the occasional convention, but it's mostly because they're not very far from here. And it's actually, I actually met quite a few people through these conventions, if you even can call them that. Most of them are just gatherings, but I digress. So a quick summary of what I think about the whole Twilight thing, or Twilicorn thing. You can actually read a big summary, big essay of sorts on my DeviantART. I know I didn't expect it to be that long, but for some reason it was a rather long story. So you can read all about it. I'm putting the link in the video description, so you can read all about it. But my basic criticism of the whole season finale is it went too quickly. Like it really felt rather rushed, and secondly, cadence. Like, now that the season finale is over, I'm really starting to notice that I really don't like the concept of cadence being an alicorn, and it really dilutes the importance of Twilight becoming an alicorn herself. What I mean by that is that in the beginning it was clearly defined that that she had like Celestia and Luna, and they control the sun and the moon and day and night and what have you, and they're clearly like demigods in this universe they established. And in season 2 they introduced this alicorn that doesn't really seems to be doing anything, but he's a princess anyway. And it really dilutes the idea of Twilight becoming a princess. So that's really a shame, and we still have to see what they're going to do with it in season 4. But for now, yeah, it's a mixture of disappointment and closure, I suppose. But then again, we have to see what they're gonna do in season 4. Get them some water. Alright, so I suppose this is the part where I'm going to do what every YouTuber does and go plug the shit out of everything. So make sure to subscribe and to like the video, and to put in your favorites. And also you can follow me on Twitter. My username is the Artrix there. it's usually where I post when I'll be streaming and posting videos and what have you. And also make sure to watch me on deviantART, same username. Also, all these things are in the video description anyway. And if you're If you're curious about these time-lapse videos, you can watch them at normal speed at my live stream. Username is the Artrix once again, and they also contain the hilarious discussions I have with my co-hosts there. So if you're interested in that, go check it out, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it in one way or another. Well, that concludes this first ever episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's basically it. The end!